Just got everything all packed up and good to go. And now it's time to scout out a spot. It's about 2:45 right now, and sunset I think was 6:30, somewhere around there. So got a couple hours at least. I like setting up stands in the afternoon. That way I can just sneak in the morning. But right now we have a southwest wind. So I'm gonna try to play that and approach where I think they're laying up on these ridges. Never hunted here. It's the first time being here. Yeah, see if I can see any sign and get set up on something real quick. I don't have that much time to scout out, but as long as I can get over some kind of deer sign, then I'm gonna set up on that and try to play less aggressive and get more aggressive as each set goes on. There's the first scrape. And this tree also has a rub on it. I know you can't really see it, but yeah, this was just hit pretty recently. I'm in a little woods funnel right now that connects a bunch of bigger woods, and there's fields, and I'm at the low point of elevation. It's a night sit, so with the south wind, I'm expecting them to come down from the ridge up there, go through these fields and start working these funnels a little bit. Problem is, this is a little thicker woods, so I don't have any area to really put up a stand without every branch being in my way. So I'd have to ground sit pretty much, unless I can find a little bit better of a spot. I'm gonna see if I can search out a little bit better area first before I just decide to ground sit this. I'd almost have to. So this is the first sit in Ohio, and I have about 2 hours worth of light yet. But to be honest, I'm not really crazy about this setup. So I wanted to hunt about 500 yards from here, but I didn't have the time tonight to get there. So just set up in this funnel. I scouted it out and found some scrapes and some rubs. But the problem is it's a bunch of little saplings, so there's not a lot of shooting opportunities or trees to climb up in. And I finally found one, and I have a 20-yard shot. It might be 30 yards wide, and that's about it. Yeah, I think it would be good if I could just have some shooting lanes, but because there isn't, I'm not crazy about this. So I'm gonna sit it tonight, probably sit it tomorrow, and most likely change up the location. But maybe tonight proves me wrong and I see some deer. I don't know, but I just don't like it. I like having the opportunity to shoot 60 yards if it's there. I don't want to only have a 20-yard shot, and it's a little window too. So hopefully one comes running this funnel and hits some scrapes. But if not, probably gonna adjust tomorrow. I think I just heard a buck rubbing up a tree behind me. I'm only maybe 100 yards into this funnel, so he's gotta be close. So I'm back in the stand location for the morning sit, and I heard deer all around me last night when it was too dark to see anything. And then this morning around 7:15, I heard one walking in. I thought I was actually gonna walk to my shooting lane, but I can barely see at that point, so I just got the camera ready and held my bow, but it never stepped out, and it sounded like it actually went across the creek to the other side. The funnel kind of splits and forks out, so I know there's deer here. It's whether or not I can get a better spot on them. So I'm thinking tonight I need to get closer to the bedding area, and after this morning sit, maybe around lunch, I'm gonna head up through and try to get closer, because this funnel is probably about 600 yards long, and then it hits the bigger wood section. So I'm gonna push in a little bit more. I looked on OnX, and I'm actually about 200 yards into it right now. So hopefully there's a clearer area, but it's still early. It's about 7:30, 7:45, and maybe something comes through. But if not, that's my game plan for later. So yeah, I'm sitting here and I hear 2 gunshots right behind me, maybe 100 yards, and I hear him say, "Good boy." So pretty sure he's waterfowl hunting, and that's gonna mess up this spot for me this morning. So pretty sure I'm gonna get down from the stand, get it on the pack again, and scout out another area for later today. I want to get as far away as I can from guns, because that's just gonna mess up any chance at a mature buck. So See if I can find something a little bit better. This funnel's about 600 yards long, so. But I don't even think I want to sit in this funnel. I'll probably head over the next ridge. Make sure I'm a good mile plus in. Get away from any kind of pressure that anyone would come and park and find a spot real quick. So, yeah. See if I can find a better spot. Yeah, I was praying about it this morning, trying to figure out where to set up because, like I said, I wasn't crazy about that setup from yesterday, so I just felt I should sit up on this very top ridge. I didn't because my stand set down there, and I come across this fresh, really good sized rub. I'm gonna see if I can find any more deer sign. The woods is really open up here, so I know if I set up here, I'll have a shot. It's just a matter of finding what access it's using and maybe get on his trail and maybe some scrapes. I gotta look around. This first sign I've seen, but it's a good sized tree and it's probably a good buck, hopefully a giant. Oh yeah, that's a big boy scrape. It's not far from that big rub too. Like I said, I was praying about it and I think this is a spot to sit. So I'm gonna set up a stand real close to this. Because I think he's bedding right up on this top ridge. I don't want to press in too much more and kick him out. Could be a really good buck. I'm trying to set up this stand and this little buck just came out. I have one hand to operate this. I don't even know if I can zoom in right now. But he just walked that scrape. I'm holding on to the tree. I don't even have my stand hung on it yet. It looks like a little 4-pointer. I'm not going to be able to zoom in, so I'm just hoping he comes out. 3-pointer. He's less than 20 yards from me right now. And my arm's going to get pretty tired if he doesn't keep moving. He smelled me. Or heard me. I was trying to adjust so I can zoom the camera in. My wind's blowing right in that direction. I had a feeling to pull all day sets right now. Man, that would have been awesome to be able to get better footage of that one. He was real close. I'm surprised he didn't smell me right away. I made a little bit of noise trying to adjust, and I think it put him on edge because he was looking around a little bit, and the wind's blowing in his direction. He just took off then. Man, it was hard though, because I was holding onto the tree with one arm and then trying to film with the other, because I'm not on a tree stand right now. I'm just on a climbing stick trying to set up for tonight. So I think this is going to be a good spot. My only thing is I wish the wind was blowing south, but it's blowing southwest. I think I'll be okay because I'm going to be up high and this slopes down, so my wind should blow right over him. And I'm on the top of the ridge, so should be okay. I think this is where the big one's bedding. He's bedding up somewhere up here. So I'm only 20 yards from that scrape, probably 20, 30 yards from the rub I found. Like I said, I didn't want to push it anymore because I bet you this is where they're laying. And yeah, I think I'm going to get some action up here. So it's 11 o'clock right now, and I'm gonna get down from the stand and head into town to grab a shower and get some food. And actually, when I come back, my game plan is to take down this stand, and I want to move another 500-600 yards deeper into this woods. I want to scout it out first, see what it looks like. But I've only seen that 3-pointer twice now, and it's only deer I've seen since I've been here, so I need to get on some bucks or some does that the bucks are looking for. And on top of that, when I was leaving the stand last night, I was using a light to get out of this woods, and I usually don't use them because I want to be as undetected as possible. But there's a lot of sticks here, so I didn't want to make too much noise leaving the stand because I think I was close to where they were bedded. But come to find out, there was a guy on the edge of this field line only 60 yards from me, and he was shining a light, yelling his buddy's name because he thought I was his buddy. And they're all hunting this ridge, and I guess one of them hit a deer. So I don't know how much they disturbed this area, but based off of him yelling his buddy's name and them doing that, I know there's a lot of commotion going on, and a big buck's not going to deal with that. So I definitely want to get away from more human activity and get where people aren't going, and hopefully get on a buck tonight. So I'm set up for the night sit, and to be honest, I'm not really crazy about this setup either. But unfortunately, I didn't have much time. It was 4 o'clock. Sunset's at 6:15. So it's like I have to set up a stand or not set up at all. So I chose to set it up here. I'm on the top of a hill that goes into a valley where there's a creek that divides the two ridges over here. The one I was just hunting, the one I want to eventually get to. It's a lot of thick cover. It's probably the hardest state I've hunted in. So there's a little bit of a clearing where I'm at, but the problem is I'm on top of the hill, and if they use this trail here, I'm only maybe 5 feet above them. But if they're in the valley, I'm probably 40 feet above them. So this landscape's a little challenging for me, at least. I've never hunted something like this. So I'm just trying to find something I can set up over tonight. Ideally, I should probably spend a whole day just scouting out and finding a really good spot and then setting up a stand. Because right now, everything I'm finding is just really thick stuff, and when I'm looking around a tree stand, that's slowing me down and tiring me out. So I can cover a lot more ground if I wasn't carrying that. So maybe one of these days, if I don't get one tonight or soon, I'll just not take the stand with me and ground hunt, scout out a whole bunch of land, find a spot, and then bring in a tree stand next time. Because yeah, this is a lot of work right now, and it's whooping me pretty bad. I've been hunting straight every day for a little while, and now I'm on the hardest terrain I've hunted on, and I'm tired. I ain't lying. Yeah, I'm set up over a scrape right now that I found. I think the top of this hill that goes down this valley has a whole scrape line, and there's fresh rubs. And one guy was telling me this is a really good spot. They're always tearing it up. We'll see what happens. Hopefully something comes through tonight, and I get to crack one. So I'm just heading out to the woods right now to get my stands. I actually chose to sleep in this morning because I've been hunting every day for a little while, and it's wearing on me at this point. Drove around the roads a little bit and scouted all the hunting pressure where the trucks are parking at, and then got a better look of the whole area, what crops are still standing, what ones are cut, and any potential new hunting spots. So I'm gonna take the stands down. I'm not really seeing deer action. I mean, I saw a 3-pointer twice in 3 days, so that's not enough. I need to see some does, at least, if not bucks, and get on better deer activity. So I'm gonna move north about 10 more minutes up the road and try a spot. It looks like there's some standing corn on some private land that butts right up against public. So I'm gonna hunt that and see if I can find any buck sign along that edge, and hopefully catch them when they come out to feed. The wind should work out perfectly. It's a north wind today, only 4 miles an hour, but I think they're gonna be bedding up on the ridges north of that, and hopefully catch them coming out to that field to feed tonight. So we'll see if that works. I don't have a lot of time to get these stands and then go set them up. I got another 5 hours until sunset, and then half an hour light after that. So I'm gonna have to get moving here real quick. And I think it's gonna warm up here these next couple days, and then we get some rain. But then next week we're gonna get a cold front again. I'll be back in the 30s. So I wanna make sure that I start getting on some good deer sign. I know this is a good buck state. It's just a matter of me finding a good spot at this point. So that's not pressured and has some deer activity. Where I'm at now, there's a lot of trucks. I keep seeing lights every night. So I know that there's definitely pressure being applied to these bucks. And I'm in a spot where I can't really see them. So I think the wood section I'm gonna go to will have some openings. If not, I'll sit on that field edge because I need to be able to actually shoot versus being the thick stuff all the time. So we'll see what happens. I know the big bucks are where I'm at right now, like the giants, but at the same time, how you shoot them if you can't see them. So we'll see what happens tonight. Hopefully get set up in time. So I'm set up now up on top of the ridge again. I pretty much had to if I wanted to hunt it all tonight because now it's 2 o'clock and sunset's at 5:15. So I went and got my stand. I was down in the little valley next to the creek and ran into 3 hunters, and one of them was pulling out about a 120-inch 8-pointer. He just got that a little deeper back this ridge, and I actually had pins to check out that next at some point. I was trying to respect that area because someone else was hunting back there, so I never went back. As you can see, I got a couple battle scars. One of my sticks wasn't fully clamped and I slid down the tree, so that was pretty fun. Yeah, I don't have a lot of time. Just figured I'd hunt here. I'm not even fully prepared for it. I don't have my camera or anything, so just using my phone right now. And hopefully something comes through. Probably gonna reassess everything later tonight, because when I went down to grab my stand that was in the valley, I scouted out some more and found some more scrapes. Ended up kicking up a deer too, so I'm not sure what it was. I couldn't really see antlers, so I think what they're doing is they're laying down in that valley during the day, and then at night they're coming up to these ridges. That's what it almost seems like, because that little 3-pointer, I saw him and he was leaving this ridge twice now during the morning sits. The first time was a little later, towards lunchtime, but then I kicked that one up today and it's about 2 o'clock, so I think they're laying down there and then coming up with the thermals and then coming up here to feed, basically, because the top of these ridges on private, they have some food plots, so I think that's what they're doing. So this is not a good stand setup if that's true, but it's pretty much what I have right now. I actually debated sitting down in that valley, but 2 of those hunters said they were going to set up down there, and I could have set up about 300 yards away from him and thought about doing it. I chose not to, and I ended up kicking up that deer, so probably would have saw that because the trail runs on top of that little hill, the one I was sitting on last night. So yeah, gonna try to figure out this area a little more. That new spot that I checked out, though, I think it's gonna be pretty good if I would move there, but I know there's deer here. I just need to figure them out. So far it's about 11 o'clock and I haven't seen anything today. I don't get it. I've hunted 3 states so far this year. This is the 4th, and it's the hardest one to hunt. It's a big buck state, but barely any deer. I don't get it. They're just pretty much non-existent. I feel like I have to start engraving on this tree right here, where every day I sit here and don't see a deer or a buck, because I haven't seen a buck since I've been here, besides that little 3-pointer. So I know they're here, it's just rare. Probably big and just few and far between. I saw 2 does, so I'm not seeing a good doe herd either. Yeah, debating what to do right now. I was gonna do an all-day sit in this stand. I just ate lunch, so Gonna maybe hike up to that far ridge I wanted to get to. I kind of mapped it out where the elevation will make sense to get there. It won't be too much of a pain. It is really steep, but as far as I know, no one else has hunted that yet. It's a tougher area to get to, and maybe there's a buck up there hanging out. Just gonna have to go to where people aren't going. If I don't like that area, I'm gonna drive 10 minutes north up the road and go to that spot. I know I have to change up, this just isn't working. So I get up to the top of this ridge and not really seeing a lot of sign. I saw 3 scrapes. 2 of them were pretty close to each other, and one's another 100 yards behind me roughly. One rub, and barely call it a rub, it looked like it was just scratched. And then one fresh one that I'm set up pretty close to. Thing is, I put all the sticks up, and I'm that tired, I'm like, I don't even know if I want to put up a stand. It's not a really promising area either, and the wind keeps blowing back this hill. It's supposed to be a south wind, and it's blowing north, so it's swirling all over the place. I just have a feeling I'm going to waste my time sitting here anyway, and I'm not really seeing the sign I want to see. So the sign I was just on was way better, but just wasn't seeing them. So yeah, I'm not really sure what I want to do. I might actually just choose to not hunt at all tonight and pack everything up. Either go set up 10 minutes north of here or head to West Virginia. I'm exhausted at this point though, so I could definitely use a break. Right now I'm packing 2 tree stands because I took both of them down, plus all the sticks. The 2 tree stands alone are 30 pounds. Then you add in 7 sticks. I think they're about 4 pounds a piece. So I'm probably hauling 70, 80 pounds, probably closer to 70. And going a couple miles back up and down these ridges, it's pretty tiring on top of setting up the stands. So yeah, my body's definitely telling me it could use a break. Sad thing is this is rut, so I really don't want to take a break, but I'm just not getting action. So I have to move. I have to change something up, because right now I should be on deer. I saw 2 does last night, and the one doe was urinating on her tarsal glands, so I think she was coming in heat, but there was nothing this morning at all. I don't know, it's just weird. I saw a lot of deer in Jersey, saw a lot of deer in Kentucky, and I get here and it's just like they're so sparse. I don't know if it's this area or what, so I need to change something though. But pretty sure I'm not going to hunt tonight because the wind's just not working out. When I was coming up here, it was blowing right in my face, and now it's just swirling everywhere. So I just think this is going to be a waste of my time and a bad sit. So probably just take everything down, move to an entirely different area. Like I said, that one guy shot 120-inch 8-point. There was a guy that was hunting the private right next to the finger I was on, and the kid shot a 200-incher. And then another kid from Vermont hit something, I don't know what it was. So right off that ridge, there's 3 bucks. So it's less and less all the time. Probably the most pressure as far as people since I've been hunting all year, and it's a good amount. Like, it's all around this whole area. So who knows how many bucks are actually left. I mean, I'm not really seeing those either. I saw 2. So yeah, it's not very encouraging right now. Just have to figure out what to do next, get back on deer. There's a lot of hunting time left, so I'm sure I'll get on something eventually, but this just isn't working. So I'm hunting a new location right now, and actually took off hunting yesterday. I was absolutely whooped because I've been hunting every day for a while, and after dragging that buck 2 miles and hunting the hardest terrain I've hunted all year, I'm just tired. So the weather wasn't good for it either, and obviously I wasn't really seeing deer, so that wasn't encouraging. I figured I'd rest and spend the day trying to figure out where I want to hunt next, basically, and try a whole new area. So I scouted out topos and then went out west about 2 hours, and there's actually agriculture out here, so there's some standing corn. Unfortunately it's standing still, but the tag, and there's corn on the private as well. And I just scouted out what kind of hunting pressure is being applied here, and it's actually a decent amount. I thought it was less yesterday, but where I'm at now, there's 2 other trucks parked right there. And I actually ran into a hunter while I was coming in, so. And it was the spot I wanted to hunt. Oh, man. But anyways, while I was driving around last night, you can't spy here. So I just had my binoculars and I saw a bunch of does. And I actually saw a really nice buck, probably 130s, 140s, 10-pointer. And he's only 100 yards from the public, which is what I'm trying to hunt right now. I'm hoping he comes up these little creek funnels that I'm on. And that's how he's getting out to that field. I'm not sure, but I'm going to take a stab at it and hope that this is where he's coming in from. So I actually kicked up a deer on my way in, right around where that hunter was. And then I saw a smaller 1-year-old buck while I was between him and where I'm at right now. Because around the creek bottoms, it's a little more open for shooting. But outside of that, it's still pretty thick. It took me a while to get back in here. I only got 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours of light. And I got here at 12. It was just brutal. I had to get down on my belly at some points just to crawl in. I'm surprised the guy's actually hunting back here. Maybe he came in a better way, I don't know. But yeah, the wind's going pretty good. It's swirling all over the place, so just hoping they don't catch my scent. Down in the creek bed, I might be 20, 30 feet above them. But again, these ridges, man, if they come up right behind me, I'm 5 to 10 feet above them. So I gotta be very careful. There's a really good buck sign here. Obviously, I saw a good buck. I've seen the most deer I've seen in a 24-hour period, more than I saw last week, so that's pretty promising. I'm hoping this is the turning point of this state because all last week was frustrating, and it'd be nice to actually get on some deer. Even if it's ones I'm just passing up, it's nice to see deer, so yeah, hopefully we have a good sit tonight and see what happens. Maybe get one down. It's almost 60 degrees this morning, so it's still pretty warm. The temperature's going to drop off though today, get down to the 50s, and just continue to decline from here. So hopefully it starts getting pretty good right now. It just rained a little bit, so I didn't get out till a little later. I didn't feel like going through all that with the warm weather and the rain. And ultimately I want to change this location anyway. I know I'm in a good area, but I don't really like where the stand's at right now. And I was talking to 4 guys that were coming from North Carolina. They've been hunting here for 20-some years, and they've shot a lot of nice buck. They were showing me pictures of them. They said that it's hard to get them here because it's real thick. Like where I'm at, it's not bad at all, but to get back here, it's pretty bad. So yeah, I'm gonna give this area a good amount of time. One of the guys though is set up only 60 yards from me, and I don't like this stand set up anyway, so I'm probably gonna relocate and scout around in a couple hours and see if I can find a better spot. So we'll see what happens. The weather's gonna get really good for this, so hopefully the big bucks start moving. So I just finished setting up this new stand location. I'm about 300 to 400 yards from where it just was. And I have to say, I actually really like this one. It's the first time since I've been in Ohio where I feel like this stand's pretty promising. It has a lot of openings for shooting lanes. I can shoot 60 yards most places. And there's buck sign, there's a bunch of scrapes. They weren't hit real recent, but it just rained a little bit this morning, so hopefully one comes by and freshens them up. There's a few older rubs, but one really fresh one, and it's a big rub. So I'm hoping there's a big guy bedding back behind me about 150 yards, and I can catch them as they round this corner of this field edge. So I'm kind of playing that field, hoping that they'll work these scrapes and wait to come out in the field at the end. So hopefully it works out. I think, I didn't press in, but I think they're bedding right behind me, about 150, 200 yards. It's like a ridge top, and it steeps off pretty fast, so down there's no way to access to get up here unless you take one of these little points coming up. So I think this will be good. I feel like this could be the spot I killed my buck, so it'd be nice. I know that with how open this is, I should be able to at least film deer. So there's that. The trails look like they're being used, so maybe some does hit too. I mean, I'm not here to shoot a doe, but definitely need does around for rut, so I know there's big buck here. It's so thick in some spots. Now, where I just was walking from my previous stand location, there's a bunch of little fingers of this creek bed that go out into different ridge tops, so I'm not sure where they're really at. I mean, there's sign here. There's another spot that was one ridge before this one. This is the last ridge before this field on private. And that ridge before this one had a bunch of fresh buck rubs, and some of them were pretty good, so I debated sitting there, but I think that's a morning sit. I think that there's a buck that beds there in the morning, and then he goes around, because where that is, it's almost like a meeting point of all the creek beds. So I think he sits there and waits until the morning and then gets an idea of where to go, basically off of the scent and the wind. So there's nothing there now, obviously, so I don't want to sit that. I might ground on it in the morning if I don't get one tonight. But for sure, I think that these two spots are probably the most promising I've seen so far. So it's looking better, which is good because I'm tired of not really seeing deer. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully this is a good spot and my scouting proves right, but we'll see what happens. This has been a tough state so far, so fingers crossed I get a buck. back on deer. Already liking this spot. So I can see this being the spot, or area at least, where I shoot a buck. The temperature's dropping pretty hard right now, so the cold front's hitting. This whole next week's gonna be really good. But I have an hour worth of light yet, so let's see if a buck comes through. Hopefully get one tonight. So I overslept my alarms this morning by a good hour, and when I was walking out it was getting gray light, so it's a bit of a hike back to my new spot, and just figured I would stop about halfway and hunt one of these creek beds and see if something slips through. I really didn't want to bust that new spot, so I'm just gonna give this time for the morning sit and then get back there later this evening if I don't get one. So I got set up for the afternoon sit, and I didn't even get to my stand in time. I tried to do a different access road and hoped that that would be easier and better, but it was even worse. I didn't think that was possible, but it was. So I'm just sitting up over the creek bed, the first one when I come in, and gonna see if something comes in. I saw a couple more scrapes and a really big rub, probably the biggest one I saw all year. So yeah, just gonna sit here for right now and make sure I'm up early enough tomorrow to hunt my actual stand. So we'll see if anything comes through. So just saw that buck. He's probably a 6-pointer, and I have to look on a bigger screen, but he gave me a 20-yard shot. And I've been here a week and a half, and I actually want to leave this state, so I debated it for a little bit, but I shouldn't shoot one that small. You don't get big ones by shooting small ones, so I'm gonna let him go. He was cruising these hills pretty quick, and I called him up here and then got the camera out. I didn't get much footage of him because I was trying to maneuver around and the camera arm started to slide, so I had to readjust that once he left. So it's still pretty early, and this is the first sit that I've done on this stand in the morning, and I'm hoping another one continues to come through. He was moving pretty good, so maybe he's on some kind of scent trail. Let's see what happens. Already getting action. This has got to be the biggest rub I've ever seen in my life. Comparison, it's a really thick tree. So I'm heading out to the stand right now, and I have a couple hours, so I can hunt where I'm at right now, but I don't have time to reset up a stand. I actually want to put a stand where I just found that rub. It's the biggest rub I've ever seen in my life, and I saw one the other day that was on a similar sized tree. So I'm trying to connect the dots on what trail this buck's using, where he's bedding, and try to get in on him. I want to put a stand within 100 yards of where I just found that rub, and I think I can have a chance at a pretty good buck. So I'm gonna hunt that either tomorrow night or the following night. It depends on what happens tonight, obviously, but yeah. I ground hunted this morning, and found a couple other areas I think are interesting, but nothing like this. So I kicked up one deer on my way in, and another one when I was scouting, but I didn't see anything else. So gonna sit this spot tonight and tomorrow morning probably, and then if I don't get one, I'm gonna adjust and probably move into that area. Or I found another spot that's about 300 yards away from where I'm sitting right now, and there's a fresh scrape, a bunch of rubs, but just not on a huge tree. So I almost want to go there just because I know that's got to be a good one, and that's kind of what I'm hunting anyway. So yeah, we'll see what happens tonight, but I got a bit of a hike to go yet, so hopefully get a buck. So yeah, that sucks. I was filming that doe for a little bit, and then I saw that buck behind. I was like, that's a shooter. Not sure how big he was, but he was good enough. And the camera arm swings around the other side of the tree right now to be able to capture that footage. And I had to pick up my bow up over the camera arm. And I think the doe caught me when I was messing around trying to get my bow, because I had my eyes on the buck to make sure he didn't catch me. And I figured I was in the clear with the doe because there's a little bit of cover like around me and below me. But she must have caught some movement because she jumped and ran for a little bit. And then I was drawn, trying to see if I can get a shot on this buck. But he just sat behind this really thick tree, so I couldn't get anything until she stopped. She stared me down again for a little while, about 60 yards, and then took off. And he just took off with her. So yeah, about 2 weeks here, I finally get a shot. And messing with this camera, I'm about to be done with it, to be honest. It's twice this season it's cost me. I wish there was a simpler way to do this, where I didn't have to mess with an arm and zoom in, and the screen's smaller than my phone, so I can't really tell what I'm on sometimes. It just sucks. He's following her, which is a good sign. It means bucks could be coming through here looking for her, but the problem is she didn't go through. She doubled back, so it would have been better if she just went up and over this ridge down at that creek bed, because then I'm gonna catch bucks trying to find this doe. So who knows? Hopefully I see another one. I just saw, I think he was a 3-pointer. Thought it was a doe at first. I didn't film this deer because I was in the middle of recording this reaction and I saw him. But yeah, could have tagged out. Hopefully another one comes through. Me. So I got down to check my arrow, and there's hair on it, and that's it. There's a bunch of hair where I shot. I can't see on the camera what happened because I have to zoom out in order to try to capture this. I judged him at 30. It was 31, so it was pretty much spot on. And yeah, I'm not sure what happened. If it deflected one of these little branches or what. That should have been a dead buck. So I'm pretty sure this wraps up Ohio. I'm on my last night sit, and I'm actually going to take this stand down now because I never see deer here. So not on the night sit. I see bucks every morning here. But I think what I'm going to do is take the stands down, get them ready, and go ground sit somewhere. Maybe in between, there's a little creek bottom, that the one that's in between the two ridges, it goes out, and there's like a pinch point. That's kind of what I'm hunting right now. But I think I'm going to go ground sit that for the last couple hours and maybe see something. I don't know. But it's supposed to rain pretty heavy tomorrow. And then they have youth gun season on Saturday, Sunday. And then it's going to rain heavy again on Monday, Tuesday. So I'm not going to get good weather. And I hunted the rain in Kentucky. I just don't like to. I never see deer, literally. If I see them, they're not in range. So it's not worth it. It's not worth getting soaked over. And then my experience right now is I have to dry everything out in the truck or go to a laundromat. So I'd rather not do that. Just call it. I had my opportunities since I've been here. I could have shot 2 of them, and I kind of blew those. So yeah, I got to the point where I left my camera in the truck the one day because I was just frustrated. I was like, why am I trying to do this? I would have got at least one of those. Yeah, it's that whole extra step, and sometimes you don't have the most time. Like, usually I have my bow in my hand right away, and I have my rangefinder. I'm figuring out what lane I want to shoot in. Like, I'm mentally preparing for this versus having the camera, making sure that's not in the way, and then making sure it's in frame, and then I have to grab my bow, and then make sure I know what range he is. I mean, I can guess it. I can get pretty close. I've done that plenty of times. But yeah, it's just not the same as far as procedure, and just wasn't going smooth. Obviously the doe busted me, and then that other buck, I'm not sure what happened there. To be honest, that was wild. My 20-yard pin was towards the top of his back. 30-yard pin was low. I smoke those every day, and I have to look at the footage, but I know I gave him a haircut somewhere, so I'm not sure at all what happened. But yeah, I'm gonna probably take a break. We have Thanksgiving next week, and can't really complain right now. I do have 2 buck, so that's nice. Just would have been nice to get number 3 and get a giant, but I haven't seen any massive bucks since I've been here. I've seen videos of them. Some people pull out some pretty good ones, but I haven't seen any. Saw some decent shooters. I think the one that was coming in with a doe probably would have been the biggest of the season, but who knows? Maybe I'll come back here late season and hunt again. I just know right now I'm probably going to take a break. Could hunt Jersey, but with Thanksgiving coming up, it probably doesn't make sense to do that. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe I get one this last sit, but here's to maybe later.